Alibaba and a lot of the Chinese companies and plays are very, very controversial stocks and stock picks in the market right now, with some people having very, very high confidence and very, very high conviction behind the fact that they think these Chinese stocks are way, way, way undervalued, especially, when we're talking about rising inflation concerns in the United States and talking about the 2022 everything bubble and just how so many valuations and metrics and everything are so out of control and that a crash is due. And in some ways, if obviously if a United States asset crash does happen, that could be good news for BABA. If different financial metrics for the United States keep increasing, if inflation keeps increasing, if the dollar is like weaker and weaker, a lot of these things could be very, very good for BABA. Now, obviously, BABA has its own fair share of downsides with Chinese and United States kind of relations being a huge, huge question, and the stock price, having a lot of support from American dollars, and then also you just have the crackdown on big tech over in China, all the Jack Ma drama and news. They don't know what the next kind of regulation or sanction or whatever against BABA is going to be, and then there's concerns over whether they're even growing as much as some people would have hoped or whatever. But at least in my opinion and the opinions of others, BABA is a great, great play in the stock market right now. I've been putting my money where my mouth is, been continuing to buy the dip and buy the dip and buy the dip. I think my cost basis for BABA is around $140 or something like that. But one of the biggest, obviously, proponents of BABA at this point is Charlie Munger. This is, the longtime right-hand man to Warren Buffett and just a legendary stock market investor and stock picker. And the news coming out today was that Charlie Munger's Daily Journal, this is obviously one of the investing companies he has, nearly doubles its Alibaba holding. Daily Journal Corp, a newspaper and software business that counts Charlie Munger as chairman, nearly doubled its holding of Chinese internet giant Alibaba Group shares in recent months. Now, obviously, this stuff doesn't come out the very day it happens. It comes out a little bit down the line when these reports and everything comes out. So it's not like he bought these shares today. He's bought them within the past 3 months, I'm pretty sure. But this is still very, very big news because what they go on to say here is that the Daily Journal held 602,000 shares of Alibaba at year end. This is at the end of 2021. We're now reporting this on 2022, which is around a $72 million position. We're not talking about anything too massively insane, especially when you're talking about like Buffett and Munger and guys like these who have probably just some insane and ridiculous positions. But 72 million in BABA is no laughing matter. This is a serious conviction play here from Munger. But the interesting thing here is that as of September 30th, 2021, they had 302,000 shares. And since then, obviously, if you've seen the BABA chart, let me see if I can find where September, right around here is at 145. And we've continued to dip. We've hit 111. I know it's been below 120 a couple times. We're sitting at 119 right now. So this thing continued to dip and dip and dip from where, Munger was in at 140, 150, 160, maybe even some shares in the 200 range. And some people were wondering, like, hey, maybe Munger's lost his touch. What is he doing here? Why is he buying this thing that just keeps tanking and tanking and tanking? Has he sold out? Has he bought more? Is he just chilling? And I think anyone who thought he sold out doesn't really have a good idea of Munger and Buffett and that group of people. They're not making investments for 3 months, for 6 months, for even a year. They're looking 2, 5, 10 longer years into the future. And I don't really think they cared that much if BABA kept tanking. If they have a long-term bull thesis for a company, if they think this company is undervalued, if they see either future growth potentials in BABA, if they think it's undervalued, if they think the U.S.-Chinese relations are either kind of overblown, the drama there, or if they think things are going to get better, or just a multitude of different reasons, they're going to invest in BABA. And, them buying the shares that they did, I think was a great sign. And it's not the only reason I'm in BABA, and it's not the only reason that a lot of other people are as well, but it definitely feels better knowing that you're on the side of Charlie Munger, rather than being on the side of some guy on Wall Street Bets or some guy on Twitter or Reddit or something like that. But obviously, yes, his original positions he is down on. It has kept tanking and tanking and tanking. But to see that he has doubled down, to see that he has bought the dip, that is a very, very good sign, because it means even though the stock has continued to tank, even though their last or most recent quarterly earnings report wasn't ideal. It wasn't a 10 out of 10 by any means. It wasn't completely disgusting, but there was definitely some downsides and some negativity and stuff there. It means that he still remains very, very excited and still very, very confident in this company for the long term. Because again, they doubled their position. They went from 36 million in stock to putting in another $36 million to, again, get up to the current position of 72 million, which I think is pretty crazy. But when you look at this company by, all typical, metrics, especially right now, while the stock market is so overpriced and so many massive companies are growing quarter by quarter, year over year, all that stuff. But man, some of these valuations are just getting really, really expensive, really, really pricey. So much of the future growth is priced in, and they need to just be absolutely perfect. A company like Baba doesn't need to be. I mean, if you look at this right now, they have a PE ratio of 16.77. That is crazy. Just a year ago, they were at 236. They're down like over 50% from where they're at there. And then if you look even at the all-time highs of like 305, it's just crazy how much beaten down this company is. It would make it look like it's just a terrible, terrible company, and it's simply not that. When we dive into some of the numbers, a forward PE of 12.5 currently for a company like Alibaba is just absolutely disgusting. That is so undervalued. It is so underrated. You have the trailing PE of 17.53, which again, for a high growth company like Baba in the current market, that is so low. If this company didn't have all the fears of the United States and China, if it didn't have all the fears of the Jack Ma stuff and kind of China coming down and cracking the whip on them and everything, this company could easily be 2, 3, 4 times as much as it is right now. And obviously that's what Baba investors are hoping for that day to come when a lot of these negative factors that are pushing it down ease up and let this thing really flourish to be the awesome company that it is. Obviously, it's not a perfect company. It's a company with flaws and downsides and stuff. But some of the exciting stuff here, I think, is obviously this company is just a revenue beast, a profit beast. They just make a ton of money in the next year. EPS estimates around 8.44 into 2023. EPS estimates of 9.65. This thing is really expected to keep growing. It has a ton of analysts following it, obviously. Right now, in this last quarter, we were sitting at around 22 analysts, which is nice. The sales growth into the next year, into 2022, is expected to be 23.7%. Again, for a $350 billion company, 23.7% sales growth year over year is crazy. One thing that does scare me a little bit is they're only projecting 17.7% sales growth into 2023. So that's a significant step down. It really does seem like at least people are projecting that sales growth to really see a halt. And that would concern me a little bit, but obviously that's very, very far out. That's 2 years ahead into the future. Obviously analysts can change, estimates can change. So much stuff could happen. I mean, think about where we were 2 years ago at this time. COVID, wasn't even a thing on anybody's radar. So we will definitely have to see how that goes. But I mean, you can even see over here in this world where we have all these companies that are so, highly valued and so overpriced, to see a company this good, this cheap, with still so much growth ahead in its future. To me, this just seems like a no-brainer. And again, that's why I am continuing a couple times a month. I'm continuing to just buy Alibaba no matter the price. I love all these prices, and when you base it off some of these metrics in the past that when you look, their forward PE. Previously, this company had been trading in December of 2020. It was trading at around a 17.5 forward PE. It's about 50% higher than it was right now, which just from fundamentals alone could put this stock at around like $180. But it's had PEs as high as 23.36, which is almost double. That could have us at like 240. If you look at things like price to sales, it's traded at almost 4 times higher its current price to sales previously, and that would have us in that $300, $400, $500 range. I mean, this thing is just cheap relative to its own history, its own path and past, and relative to the market as a whole. And again, to see a guy like Charlie Munger, buying the dip, doubling down is a very, very exciting sign. And, it makes me confident to just keep piling money into Baba. I'm considering, throwing in some money on some leaps and stuff like that, just because I do think this is going to be such a good stock and such a good pick for the years to come. But for now, I'm definitely trying to get my hands on any shares that I can. It's one of the biggest current positions in my portfolio, and I really expect it to be one of the biggest positions in my portfolio for years and years to come. And it's just a company that I'm very, very excited about at this time. And I'm glad that Charlie Munger is as well. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts on Baba are. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.